Brandon, there was a Google Stadia Connect you should probably talk about.
Sort of busy, computer.
Isn't it sort of your thing to cheat on Stadia?
Yeah, but I don't want people thinking I just hate Google Stadia or whatever.
That's exactly what you have been doing for the past year now.
I made a couple videos about Google Stadia. You act like I have a problem with them or something.
Brandon, you have made 4 separate videos now talking about how much you dislike Google Stadia.
Oh, jeez. 4 videos now? Maybe I do hate them.
Yep.
Alright, well since 5th time's the charm as they say, let's hop into all that Google Stadia news and more on another episode of the shit you care about. Alright, so like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, we got a whole new Google Stadia Connect to go through today. Thank God it was only 20 minutes. I didn't have to spend too long watching this trash. Alright, so from the top, it does look like they're finally adding some of those Google Stadia features that we've been waiting a year now for them to actually do anything with. And the first feature that they're adding is called the click to play. Pretty much it allows viewers to click on a link during your stream and then immediately hop into your game, obviously depending on what game you're playing and if it supports this whole click to play feature. But yeah, they can just click that link and immediately opens up in your browser as long as you have Google Stadia, and you can just hop in their game with them or start playing the game that they're playing. I have to admit, it's a pretty sweet feature, and I have a feeling you're gonna see other people end up taking this from Google Stadia and implementing it into PlayStation, PC, and Xbox. There is some serious marketing potential here. Imagine you're a streamer who's streaming one of the newest competitive shooters over on Twitch, and your viewers can just click a link and immediately start playing or download the game that you're playing. It's not only going to add some serious interactivity for streamers out there, but it's also going to give publishers a chance to just sell you their game right as soon as you see someone else playing it. Like I said, it's a pretty neat feature, and I guarantee you're going to see some form of this coming to Xbox and PlayStation down the road. So moving on with the show, they also mentioned that the Avengers, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and Cyberpunk 2077 will all be coming to Stadia. However, Cyberpunk is the only one that's coming out on the day of launch. This was a pretty big issue I noticed with most of the games coming to Stadia, is that they don't actually have an official launch date. They do mention months a lot of the time and a year, but they never actually get into what day it's coming out in that month, which makes me a little bit skeptical about whether or not these games are even going to come out in that month on Stadia. Next up was 2K Games. They had a little spot here on the Google Stadia Connect, pretty much just saying that Mafia 2 and Mafia 3 Definitive Edition are on Stadia, as well as announcing a couple other games that will be coming to the platform, including PGA Tour, WWE Battlegrounds, and NBA 2K21. It looks like PGA Tours and WWE Battlegrounds both have official release dates, unlike a lot of the other games on Stadia. However, NBA 2K21 is still looking at that fall 2020 release date. Once again, just so ambiguous, who knows when this is coming out on Stadia. Alright, and as far as actual big announcements go, one of the first ones was Bomberman R Online, which will be coming to Stadia first, at least the online mode. I'm pretty sure this game already came out on Switch quite a while ago, and it seems like they're adding this battle royale mode that will be coming out on Stadia first. This was easily the standout of the show for me. I'm not a huge Bomberman fan, but the idea of getting to play in sort of a battle royale mode with 60 other people seems kind of interesting. They're also allowing for that crowd play feature that I kind of mentioned a little bit at the beginning of the show. If you hit their little stream link, you can immediately open the game and play with them right then and there, which I really do think is going to be a pretty sweet feature for Google Stadia. I kind of like the graphics. It looks like you're going to have a lot of customization with your Bomberman character and the bombs and stuff like that. Your regular old Battle Royale customization stuff, but still a neat idea. Reminds me a lot of Tetris 99 or something like that. And that is coming this autumn. Then we had Dead by Daylight, which is coming to Stadia this September. Once again, no real release date. It does look like they're going to have all the DLC wrapped up into the release on Stadia. And along with the crowd play feature, it's also going to have cross-play and cross-profile with Switch and PC, which is pretty neat. It looks like the crowd play feature only stretches to helping the streamer pick what character they play as or something like that. But once again, it's a pretty neat feature, and I really think you're going to see these interactive streams become very, very popular. Alright, then we had Elder Scrolls Online, which looks like it is already on Stadia, so if you happen to have Stadia, you can play that right now. It does look like it has crossplay with PC and Mac, as well as being free up until July 16th, so pick that up if you got Google Stadia Pro. I will have to admit, I think adding crossplay and kind of cross-account migration like they kind of have had in a couple other games is totally how you're gonna win people over on Stadia. I still think you need a much bigger library of games, and I'll go over it more at the end of the show here, but what they have here is just not doing it for me. We've seen this one come up a couple times now, like in the Devolver Digital special that just happened a couple days ago, but Serious Sam 4 will also be coming to Google Stadia. I never got much into Serious Sam when I was a kid, but it's a lot like Duke Nukem or something like that. It's really silly, guns a-blazing sort of first-person shooter game. Once again, no release date, but we're looking at August 2020 for it coming to Stadia. Next up was Hello Neighbor, which is also coming to Stadia in September. Once again, no real release dates. Pretty much none of the games at the show had a release date, by the way. During this little segment, they called it a sleeper hit, which I think is a little bit of an understatement. I don't know for sure, I guess, but Hello Neighbor was easily one of the most popular, like, streamer games last year or the year before that. And it does like they're getting some sort of extra mode or maybe even a sequel called Hide and Seek. I wasn't exactly sure if it was like a full-blown game or just like a little extra added mode onto the original game, but that's also coming this holiday season. And of course, upon launch, it will have crossplay and be free for all Stadia Pro members. Square Enix had a pretty big slot here at the Google Stadia Connect, first showing off that Outriders game. I think this was shown off a couple weeks ago at the Xbox showcase. It's being made by developers People Can Fly, who are popular for Bulletstorm and working on Gears, stuff like that. Pretty much their thing is bulky dudes in armor shooting guns, and it looks like that they're sticking right on track with this game. That's the exact feels I get from this game. I have to admit, I'm not particularly impressed by this game. It seems fine. It's weird to me that they have yet to show off a lot of gameplay for this game, mostly just like cinematics and stuff like that. It's not really my thing, but People Can Fly have done some very solid work in the past, so there's that, I guess. And they also came in with Hitman 1, 2, and 3, also all coming to Stadia. 1 and 2 should be coming to Stadia sometime this September, and then Hitman 3 will be following them come next January. Once again, no official release dates here, so take all of these dates with a total grain of salt. Probably the most exciting part of the Google Stadia Connect, and I use exciting very, very loosely here. Looks like they're bringing Sekiro over to the platform, which I think is a solid choice. I really like Sekiro. It's a really good game. I'm kind of curious to see how Sekiro is going to end up running over a network connection like that, seeing as how you need those really high frames to kind of play that game correctly. I've never really had an issue with playing Google Stadia, but I am a little bit wary about that network connection that is needed to get that performance out of the game. Of course, they had to feature PUBG somewhere in the show. They have a pretty big deal with them, and they just dropped in to say that Season 8 will be coming to Google Stadia. It is free if you have Pro for some reason. Last but not least, they mentioned that they're going to be working with some developers like Harmonix and Supermassive Games to bring their games over onto Stadia later in the year, as well as their 2 exclusive games, Outcasters and Orcs Must Die 3. Outcasters being a solid little co-op couch game where it looks like you play as little vinyl dolls that can kind of wanted shoot their shots around corners and stuff like that. Seems like it could be pretty fun with some friends. And of course, the 3rd sequel to Orcs Must Die, a kind of dungeon trap creation game. I don't really know how to put that. Looks like you and a couple friends get to kind of fight hordes of orcs as they come into your dungeon with traps and all sorts of weapons and stuff like that. I never really played the first Orcs Must Die, but I know that there's kind of a little cult following for this, so I guess that's good for them. And yep, that's about it for the Google Stadia Connect, everyone. I know you probably expected something interesting to come out of that, but here we are. No doubt they're bringing some older games and games that are yet to come out yet onto the Stadia platform, and I think that's really gonna fill out their library. But once again, after every single Google Stadia Connect, I'm always asking, who is this for? Because I don't know anyone with Google Stadia Pro, and if you already play games, you most likely already have a console or something that you play those games on, so migrating over to a whole new console to play games that you can't play anywhere else seems just so stupid. Not to mention there's nothing interesting to see here. It's not like they have any exclusives that are totally blowing my mind or something that I need to pay for Stadia to get on right now. And most of these games, without release dates mind you, I either already own or have played in the past, and I don't see a lot of reason to hop on Stadia to play these games. I have gotten a chance to play Stadia, and admittedly it worked pretty well. I think the technology is there, it's just they don't understand how to run a game console or a game platform. I'm honestly sort of surprised they haven't bailed on this project altogether at this point, and I'm a little impressed that they're still trying to make this a thing. Generally, Google is one of those companies that will pick something up because they think it's going to end up being a big hit for them, and then as soon as they figure out more people don't want it than they thought, they kind of drop it and move on to the next thing. That all being said, I am very curious to keep watching this platform as it struggles to make its way into the industry, and frankly, I'm kind of curious to know what your guys' thoughts and opinions are around this. At this point, they either need to, 1, blow our minds with something that we can't get anywhere else, 2, expand their game library immensely, or 3, maybe just quit altogether and use these studios that you've accumulated to just try and make cool, interesting games. All in all, it was a pretty big snooze fest, and I am not looking forward to watching the next one, I have to admit. Anyway, that's about all the Google Stadia news I got for you guys today. Once again, let me know down below with all your thoughts and opinions around the newest Google Stadia Connect. Do you guys have this? Do you play it regularly? I would love to get your thoughts on all that. Anyway, I'm Brandon. This was the shit you care about, all about the newest Google Stadia Connect for July, and have a kick-ass week.